He has held key roles such as marketing manager in Zarawe Aluminum and Plastics. In his free time, he enjoys reading, traveling, and building meaningful connections. Let us welcome Dr. Adinga to the platform. Family Worship Center in Wuye. Would you please give a round of applause as we welcome Ebadon Christopher to join this platform. Our next panelist is going to be Dr. Manzo Abubakar. He is a renowned measurement scientist, stem cell expert, and educationalist based in Abuja, Nigeria, with over 40 years. He co-founded the Stem Cell Transplant Project for Africa and chairs the NARC stand, mandated by the Nigerian government to establish the National Stem Cell Treatment Center. Dr. Manzo oversees key national committees on stem cell research and therapy and played a significant role in formulating the country's Stem Cell Therapy Act. He led the first international workshop on stem cell transplant in 2007 and contributed to creating the African chapter of the International Association for Organotherapy and Stem Cell Transplantation. He remains a strong advocate for advanced medical therapies to enhance health care in Africa. Dr. Manzo is married to Mrs. Abubakar, a public health practitioner with whom he has children. Please let us welcome Dr. Manzo to this platform. He's in traffic, so he'll be joining us as soon as he arrives. Next, we have Dr. Layden Barnabas Dixon, also known as Dr. Africa. We heard about him earlier. Is an inspirational speaker, prolific writer, and researcher specializing in human resources and philanthropic management. He founded and chairs multiple organizations, including the African Development Consortium, the Dredalow Agrilution Enterprise, and Dixon Leadership Training Institute. Dr. Dixon also runs Ithering Clinics and Therapy Home and 2 microfinance banks. He is actively involved in various organizations, serving as National Financial Secretary of the Association of Integrative Medicine Practitioners and President of YMCA. Dr. Dixon contributes to environmental diplomacy, peace building, and eco-climate response efforts in Africa, promoting sustainable development and well-being. Please let's welcome Dr. Dixon to the platform as one of our panelists. And we have Dr. Fidelia Bature, who we were blessed to hear from earlier, from the FHEA in the UK, where she's a research fellow and an epidemiologist. And she's from right here in Kaduna. So let's welcome her back to the platform as one of our panelists. Lastly, we have Cal Mraz, who is standing in for Pastor David Mallory, who is part of the QEI team in Texas in the USA. One second. All right, Kyle. Just hold on to your seat a little bit longer. We'll get to you, I promise. All right, we want to call Dr. Iffy. who is a medical doctor and CEO of Healthy Living Services, specializing in integrative health and lifestyle. She promotes holistic well-being through coaching, teaching, and counseling in health, relationships, and personal development. Dr. Ife chairs multiple NGOs and has extensive experience in leadership and entrepreneurship. She is also the author of the Live Your Best Life ebook series, focusing on vibrant health, stress management, and relationship solutions. Bishop Jonanthan Maji Joe serves as the Chief Missions Director of the Spring of Life Resource Center. Good job. It just all runs together. There's no separation. It just goes right into Bishop Magi. So, no. Okay. So we want to welcome Dr. Ife to the stage. Waquest.
Dr. Ife Nwakwesili.
Now we have Dr. Emma Amici. Dr. Emma Amici is a distinguished figure in the field of stem cell treatment in Nigeria. With over a decade of experience, he has been a pioneer since 2007, specializing in stem cells, also known for his advocacy in hydrotherapy and nutrition for health. Dr. Amici, age 59, is married with children and actively participates in natural health care support for community welfare and correctional center care volunteering. Please let's welcome Dr. Amici to the panel. Facilitator.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I know you've eaten, and I'm sure the food you just ate will digest. All our visitors, whatever you're buying, please come and have a seat, because they can't be talking and we're moving around. These people came from all over the place to come here today. We have to honor them by listening to them. It's like nobody's listening over there. I don't want to come there, please. Madam, shut down what you're selling. We cannot move until everybody is seated. It's not all the time that you get people like this in one room. And this is the grace of God. So we'll have to absorb whatever they have in their mind to get our life better in this toxic world. So we'll have to be serious. And then, like I told you, if you have questions you have, to ask them later. Write the question down. We're going to give few people a chance to ask them. Is there anybody outside trading? Please come inside. Are we all seated? Okay. Now I want all of you to know that all our guests, all the doctors, they are all children of our Most High God. And I can sit here and tell you the story of every single one of them, how I met them. It was through QEI. I can tell you how many years I've known Dr. Dixon. So many years ago in Jos, when I was waka talking to you about health. There's so many of them I can start discussing. But Reverend Chris, I love him to death. He will tell you the way I met him. So every single one here is an important figure for us to listen to. And then let us collect what they have. Amen? Please swallow the saliva in your mouth. All of us, swallow the saliva. Amen? That's better. All right.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Again, my name is Kyle Mraz. We've been working with QEI, partnered over the last year, so I'm still on the lay side of what's going on, learning just like y'all. So a lot of these questions are going to be very similar to y'all's, but we'll just go ahead and get it kicked off. I want to welcome all of the expertise up on stage to the Global Health and Wellness Summit 2024. It's truly an honor and a pleasure, and it's my delight. Can everyone hear me okay? All the way in the back? Y'all got me? All right, very good, very good. So we'll go ahead and get kicked off with the questions here. And again, this is going to be open form. So I'll ask a question, and then maybe whoever's expertise it applies to the most can kind of pick up, if that makes sense. All right, let's go. So first off, what are the most critical lifestyle changes people can make to maintain long-term health and wellness? Who would like to pick that one up?
Can you ask that again, please?
Yes. So what are the most critical lifestyle changes people can make to maintain long-term health and wellness?
Okay, thank you very, very much for that profound question. One thing we've got to realize is that the human being is a spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical being. The human being gets into relationships. The human being needs to have a good financial backing to be able to meet their needs. And you've got to know and live your purpose. So the best way you can actually have vibrant health and be healthy is to commit to consistent and continuous self-improvement. And I mean that. So you are developing yourself spiritually. You learn how to be intentional about your mindset. So you're not going to be negatively programmed, worrying over everything, and having a high stress level. You learn how to feed your body so you can have the health and energy to be accomplishing your dreams. And that is why somewhere like QEI is very critical. But again, we need to look at our surroundings and see how we can tap into the vegetables and herbs and juices around us. Everything doesn't need to be in a capsule. Then you've got to be intentional about your relationship. If you're not in a good relationship, are you going to be healthy? Answer me, are you going to be healthy? Then you've got to tap into your creative resources to see how you can build yourself some finances to meet your needs. And you've got to know and live your purpose. You may be making money, but you have inner emptiness. You're not going to be a happy person. Avoid conflicts. Stay away from conflict. A lot of people get into conflict situations and it increases their stress level. And most of all, try and be a true Christian. Don't joke with God. Thank you very much.
No, beautiful. Great answer. Excellent. Okay, so next question. How do you see the future of preventative health care evolving over the next 5 years? So preventative health care.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I mean, it is often said that prevention is better than cure, and which is true. Now, within the next, we've seen that the population of the world has actually increased from 7 billion to 8.2 billion this year. And with the population comes, the aging population has also, doubled from 5.5 to 10 point, something within the same period. Now, they live longer with comorbidities, having illnesses, even though they are living longer. So within the next 5 years, prevention has to shift more on keeping people longer, healthier for longer, while keeping them active, and even though it will come with, a huge financial cost, but we need to keep people healthy, active for longer. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, can I just add something to what she said?
Sure.
Okay, so most of us here are lifestyle enthusiasts. I belong to the Society for Lifestyle Medicine Practitioners in Nigeria. And just yesterday, we had a discussion on epigenetics. And the facilitator said something very awesome, and I think those of us here should hear. While we are trying to make people realize the benefits of diet, of lifestyle changes, the scientists are also developing, using AI, some devices. We're telling patients, okay, drugs are filled with chemicals, and the pharmacist, interestingly, and when patients come into my office, Dr. Lady Green knows, drugs are not the first thing I prescribe or give to them. And so she said that while we are trying to tell people that, okay, if you don't want to take drugs, okay, improve your lifestyle, work on your diet, on your mental health, on sleep and all that. He said the scientists are developing devices. So when you tell the patient, don't take drugs, that they are making things right now to forestall what we are doing, to make patients turn to those things, those devices. So if you don't take Panadol, for example, they give you an alternative to Panadol, which is also not natural, going to have the same side effects, but so that they won't say, oh, a lot of doctors, unfortunately, when we tell patients, you can change your lifestyle, you can stop smoking, you can feast on good diet or take some supplements, they tell them, no, don't take supplements, take your drugs. I don't advise any patient not to take their drugs, but I think somebody talked about integrative medicine and all that. But the truth of the matter is that no matter what else we do, we must continue to tell people that the best medicine that you can take for any disease is prevention. When you prevent, you don't need to take any medication for it.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Excellent answer.
A little bit. I had an experience some time ago. That was in mid 2000. There was a celebrated case in Malaysia when a child that was born with leukemia, they had to use personalized stem cell product to cure the child. And so the future of medicine is going to be somehow personalized. And personalized in the sense that people will discover what is good for your body system. And environment is like a looking glass. And when you're in an environment where certain problem is very prevalent, you discover that people in that environment suffer some particular kind of problems. And so you get to discover something better. Now, I said something to a pastor friend. Coincidentally, I have doctorate in theology. And I told the pastor friend that we are getting to a point when we need to study our body better than the time we spend studying the Bible. It may not sound too attractive for the religious mind, but our body is given to us as a gift of God. Life is the one thing that was given to us by God that we don't have to play with. And so when you study anatomy and physiology, you are going to get to know better about the functions of every part of your body. And when you know your body better, you will better handle it well. Thank you.
Excellent. Very good. It's opposite in the U.S., It's medicine first for the most part, and preventative is, it's opposite in the U.S. Preventative is not the first step. And so medication comes as the resolution in most doctors in the U.S. So great answers, Sean. Let's see. So the next question is going to be, what is your approach to balancing mental health, physical and emotional, in your practice? So, what is the approach to balancing mental, physical, and emotional health in your practice?
Yeah, I mean, when you want to encourage an individual, to balance the physical, the mental, and the spiritual well-being, you need to think of, for me, I always tell individuals to be thankful to God. Assume an attitude of thanksgiving. That's the first thing. Now, we need to look at individuals have to be intentional about their diet. They need to be physical. Engage Lady Queen actually engage us here this afternoon. Exercise, because it's necessary to keep yourself healthy, apart from being intentional about your diet. Furthermore, you need to be you need to socialize as well, because it's very necessary for your mental health. While some individuals enjoy being alone, others will benefit with the community spirit. So, but whichever way you find your way, you need to socialize as well. And additionally, we always say, because we are Christians, though, you need to be close to God too, because He's our keeper generally. So, but I've mentioned that you need to be physical, you need to be intentional about your diet, you need to rest as well. While we exercise, we need to rest, because when you don't rest, definitely there will be inequilibrium within the system. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
This is a very, very interesting question for me, because when I was about 30, 40, I suffered depression. I had depression for over 6 years. I will not be able to get out of bed. When I see the morning, I say, oh, another morning, I cover myself. And I was like that. What did I have to do? That's when I started asking questions. I went to my medical colleagues. It was always, the diagnosis at that time was anxiety with reactive depression. They kept giving me, what is it called? I think antidepressant. At that time, it was mostly Enderil, Valium. And I took it and I wasn't feeling better. And I started asking questions. I said, could someone tell me the root cause of this situation? Because if you find the root, you can resolve it. And then it happens that I got to learn about integrative modality of care, which looks at ill health in the context of the individual total social existence. It's not just about prescriptive drugs, it's about total you. I used to be a warrior. I'll go to church, Lady Queen. I will sing and dance to the gospel music. As soon as I left the church, my negatively programmed mindset would start telling me all the negatives in my life. What did I have to do? I saw a doctor in England and he said, your lifestyle is making you sick. Go back to Nigeria, there's nothing wrong with you. Go and do mindset reprogramming. Go and stand guard at the door of your mind and speak to negative thoughts when it starts coming. Interrupt it. Now I've told negative thoughts. I have the mark of Jesus here. This body is a holy ground. And my phone number is not available. So you've got to be intentional about your mind and be sure that God has made you a masterpiece. Don't allow negative thoughts to come and hold you hostage. And you can do mindset reprogramming. You can do neuro-linguistic programming. You can do pattern interrupt. When the negative thought comes, you can jump up and cut it. There are lots of things you can do. And we need to be careful because a lot of us are in bondage of negative thought in this society. They give us certificates in professional, doctor, lawyer. What quality of individual are you? And that's why in the society there are so many conflicts. Thank you.
Can I add something?
Can I just add something? Sorry, sir.
Can I just tell you this?
Okay. It's interesting she mentioned that. In the last 2 or 3 months, I have 3 patients that I'm working with right now. And one of them is just her testimony. The first person came, her case was terrible. As in, she wakes up in the morning, she hears a voice telling her to commit suicide, And so the device that Lady Queen uses, I have one in my office. And so I did all the tests. Absolutely. In fact, her results were almost all green. Everything concerning her physiology was almost perfect. So I said, okay, let's go to the lab. Since you believe more on medicine. So I sent her to the lab, liver function tests, kidney function test, everything. Everything was perfect. So I told her there is absolutely nothing wrong with you, but with your mind. Okay? I've had a personal, my wife was ill at the time. Well, she was not ill, but she was pregnant, and it was a difficult pregnancy. So she was in the hospital for a long time. And so the doctors will come almost every evening, and she will cry and cry of pain, that she's having terrible pain. But I knew that the pain was in her mind. And sometimes when I talk, she said, leave me alone, it's because you are not the one on the bed and all that. So one day I called the doctors aside and said, you know what? This thing is in her head. It's nothing physical. I'm the one paying for it. So I took she was almost getting addicted to pentazocine. Most of you know what pentazocine is. So I told the doctors, she's my wife. You don't care about my wife more than me. I'm the one paying for the medication. I'll pay for it if that's your problem. But you know what? Get to the front of her, break the vial of pentazocine, put it down and tell her to turn, and then would have prepared a syringe of water. And so the first night, this night she cried and all that, and so the doctors agreed and gave her water. Men and brethren, you won't believe that. That night she slept better than even the night taking pentazocine. There was absolutely so many on the streets, so many people going to hospital. It's the same thing. Like I said, there are 3 of them. We've done all the tests, nothing physically wrong with them, but their emotions, their mind, they keep hearing voices, something telling them something is wrong. And Lady Queen talked about probiotics. I wish more people will talk about probiotics. One of them, what I found out was that her digestive system was where the source of the problem was. And so I placed her on probiotics, on digestive enzymes. Anytime she eats anything, she feels bloated. She starts having all kinds of... and so I started giving her high dose probiotics and digestive enzymes. And she called me, I can't find any of these problems anymore. Because what I found out in my practice, once your gut is fine, the whole of your body is fine. And so we should in our practice, in our talking to people, we should encourage people about the voices they are hearing. Give them scriptures. With most of my patients, what I do every morning, I send them scriptures. Talk to yourself. Positive affirmations. Keep telling yourself. No matter, like she said, she told the devil, see, there's a mark on my head. There's no space here. All right? If you want to sing that Davido song, when Satan starts to come, start singing that Davido song. I'm unavailable. I'm unavailable. Just keep saying that. I'm not available. All right.
Okay, if I may just add a little bit, just as I was about saying earlier on. You see, there's 2 aspects of human life that you should take note of. There's a time to work and a time to rest. We have what we call the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic is what works on you when you are resting at night. Whenever your body is at rest, your body repairs itself. And so denying yourself sleep because you have to do 7 night vigils is not helping your health. And again, there's a clock in your body. And this clock requires that once the lights are off, you're supposed to sleep. Well, if you can still wake up at night and look at your phone, you alter the clock of your life. And what happens is that your sympathetic nervous system comes up to suspend your parasympathetic. And when that is suspended, obviously you will stay awake. But the natural thing is that once it is night, you're supposed to rest. And a good night rest can actually balance your physical, emotional, and entire body system by repairing itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think at this point, I have to come in because personally, I'm a product of emotions. I know what positively emotions has done to me, and I feel dealing with this topic basically is one of my area of expertise when it comes to human sciences. I was born some years back in early 70s, and very unfortunate, as I was coming up at the age of 14, I have the medical doctors here or the pharmacists could know. I'll call it injection upset, but I think I had an injection accept, and it affected me. At age 14, I have to go back again, crawling. I cannot walk. All that have partial paralysis. The two legs wasn't moving. So I sit back, and when I hear my sister talks about emotions and thought, 75% of ailment that comes to human body comes from the mind. And then I want to say straight, again, another 75% of method of healing comes from your mind. Why I'm saying this, because I'm a product of feelings and emotions. When I was having these challenges, my mother, there was a time they gave birth to a twins just in our house. And my mother backed me, even when I was 14, but I can't walk. She backed me. When I saw the babies, when they just gave birth to them, and they were celebrating, dancing. Within a year, 2 months or so, the babies came to our house with the mother and everything. The baby was running, and I was sitting down like this. Just a jump up. What took me up from where I was sitting to today that I'm walking, I don't know. I jumped up. I saw the baby walking. And I just feel, how is this baby that I saw they get back to this baby, and this baby will walk where I'm there sitting down. I stood up, I fell. I stood up, I fell. I stood up the third time, I started walking, and that's how I walked to today. So, when we're talking about mindset, the mind is so critical to the system, that's the body. The mind gives the signal of every ailment before the ailment triggers. And by the time you reject it from your mind and understand that you are healthy, since that very episode, I could remember the last time my wife when she had my last baby, she was prone to BP. So she has the BP apparatus at home. She checks her BP constantly. So the day she just called me, I believe I don't have BP. She said I should come, let her check me. When she checked me, she said I have a low BP. I said, what do you mean by low BP? She said I should check because low BP is more dangerous than high BP. I went to the hospital and the doctor still confirmed that my BP is low. I said maybe because I'm relaxing too much. I will go and look for trouble that will trigger my bills. It's not joke. Within the interval of 2 weeks, I feel my blood pressure has gone up and it balanced to almost 120 and other things compared to my age. And they say it's balanced. I say, okay, fine, maybe because I was relaxing. And now I want to go and look for trouble. So definitely, when you're talking about people and emotions, what this emotion causes, what causes most of this emotion is lack of contentment. Lack of contentment. If you have lack of contentment, it triggers your emotion all the time. But if you have a contentment, at all time, you're contented. You have limited risks to ailment.
Wow. So rich. Is everyone taking notes? And can everybody hear okay in the back? Perfect, perfect. Okay. Very good. We're moving to the question. Test. All right, here we go. How do you encourage your patients to stay consistent with their health goals, especially when they face challenges? The consistency.
All right. Now, the first thing, to encourage patients to stay consistent with their health goal is to let them understand the benefits of the health goal in the first place. And again, the danger of neglecting those health goals. Now, the first thing again is to encourage them to, the next thing is to encourage them to set realistic goals. Take, for example, if you want to exercise, if you want to formulate goals for exercise, for example, You shouldn't say, I will exercise 30 minutes in a day. But you can tell yourself, I will exercise 2 minutes, 5 days in a week, which is actually backed by research. All right, so you're setting realistic goals. And for us, it is our duty to also guide the patients and support them to make realistic goals. Because sometimes we just tell patients, go and exercise, go and eat balanced diet. We don't tell them the balanced diet, and we don't tell them how to exercise. So we need to encourage the patients to set realistic goals. We need to guide them. We need to also monitor them to make sure they are doing the exercise. I mean, as they come to us through checkup. And lastly, we need to evaluate this exercise to see, is it meeting their needs, while also encouraging the patients or the clients to take responsibilities for their own health. Thank you. So, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me support my sister here. My conversation is this. If you want to be successful in life, you go for the training to be successful in life. You can't go to a battle ill-prepared. And that's what we do in this society. Like I said earlier on, most of our educational curriculum is focused on formal certifications. We need to begin to teach children early in life. Growth mindset and integrative lifestyle. And that's what I teach. People call it all kinds of names. You cannot be what you have not learned. So in this society, we are too much into quick fix. Oh, headache, pop a pill. Knee, pop a pill. We don't want to commit to a sustainable, continuous lifestyle that can give you what you want. You know, look at all the society. Too many challenges. Let me ask a question. We are a predominantly Christian and Muslim society. Why is there so much decadence? The decadence is unbelievable. And today I had a meeting in National Orientation Agency. They said they have included civic education in the primary. Do you people know about that? That the federal government has said every child must go through civic education. So if you really want people to commit, they cannot commit to something they've not learned. We start early, from primary, nursery, tertiary. The churches and the mosques, they have a place here. Many of our pastors preach mostly spirituality, but human beings are spirit, mind, and body. They leave the churches still negatively programmed. Like my brother here said, many of us are in bondage of negative thought. For strength and resilience, you need to acquire it. And you acquire it from your challenges. Because it's from your challenges, they become stepping stones for the woman or man you have become. Today, my energy at 71 is much better than when I was 30, 40. It's a process of growth. And I read, I watch videos, I come to seminars like this. Nigerians have got to commit to improving their brain power. Not watching social media nonsense. Thank you very much.
No, amazing, amazing. Thank you all. I think we all need help with the consistency, right? We can start and get on a program or get in the direction. Oh, go ahead.
First, let me begin by introducing myself. I am Dr. Maiwa Azimanzo Abubakar. I am the chairman of the National Committee for the Research and Application of Stem Cell Transplantation Technology in Nigeria. It's an interministerial committee it's an interministerial committee. It's about research, development, and innovation. I want to identify myself with some of the progressive ideas and aspirations canvassed by prior speakers. In the year 2007, our NGO carried out clinical trials at the Annunciation Hospital in Enugu. And these clinical trials proved efficacious. Now, what is stem cell all about? For purposes of argument, life starts from one single cell, pluripotent, which differentiates into specialized types. So the essence, the raison d'etre of stem cell is to see how we can harness the resources of nature to defeat nature at its own game. And so the concept of stem cell transplantation was born. Then the Honorable Minister of Science, Tech, and Tech was Chief Mrs. Grace Equiwele. 2007, we have come a long way. Now it has a life of its own, and I am the first chairman. I took over some years ago from the pioneer chairman who passed on. And it's a multidisciplinary endeavor. You see, medical orthodoxy has its limitations, and which is why in stem cell transplantation technology, we have working committees. There was an attempt by the Federal Ministry of Health to have us headquartered, but we said no. We want to plow from the variegated specialties from the Ministry of Agriculture having to do with close colony farming. We want to plow from the Federal Ministry of External Affairs, given the fact that most of our stem cell experts who are foreign-based had to come down here, team of vets, doctors, and what have you. Now, the membership of the stem cell, the NACRAS team, the National Committee, is plowed from the research institutes, NIPRIT here in Idu, the Institute for Medical Research in Yaba. Then some of our pioneer members, pillars, like Professor Dora Akunyili has passed on, Professor Wanbebe, Professor Osunko, and all of them, they have passed on. But thank God we have reached a stage where we now have a modus. We are like an agency of government. But pay attention. We have insisted that in order to transcend the bureaucratic strictures and the red tapeism of government, there is a need for us to be for all markets, to see how we can plow from all those who will add value to medical health. And which is why we have standing committees. We have the Committee on Ethics, Regulation, and Legislation. We have the Committee on Innovation. We have the Committee on Manpower, and so forth and so on. Then we have the Committee on Environment. Now I want one up for it's when I saw life in a toxic world. All of us are contending with a scenario where some of the pharmaceutical drugs no longer prove efficacious, and we are contending with scenarios where so that was why we now decided stem cell has its own compartmentalizations. There is xenotransplantation, there is allotransplantation, there is allotransplantation. Now, what am I talking about? Might be when I contribute again, I will go into some of the technicalities. But xenotransplantation, essentially, giving ethical considerations, is seeing how we can harvest stem cells from animals, culture them, and transplant them into humans intravenously or intramuscularly, where they bring that potent vigor and impact on dormant or dying cells. Before HIV drugs became very important, it was only the rich that could afford stem cell transplants. So we took a quantum leap And we said, how do we broad base the stem cell plank, stretch our imagination to ensure that it's accessible to all Nigerians? So it became a public-private partnership. It was fascinating. Things came to a head when my colleague in politics, who was the former Minister of State for Health, also became the Minister of Science and Technology. So he was able to lift it up, and now we are where we are. As I talk to you now, we have a central bank Naira account that has been approved, and then we will be able to plow and see how we can take the work to the next level. I will not talk much now. I just want to introduce myself, hear from them, but with the passage of time, I will see how we go into the nitty-gritty.
Yes, thank you. Wow, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Thanks so much. And we're going to move on to the next question here. What role do you think food plays in managing chronic diseases, and what are the common misconceptions or misunderstandings? So what is food? What does food have in plain, what do you think food plays in managing chronic diseases? Okay. And what are the common misconceptions or misunderstandings?
What role does food play in managing chronic diseases?
Yes.
And what are the common misconceptions?
Yes, sir.
Let me start by quoting WHO. I saw this somewhere. According to the WHO, 80% of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes, and 40% of cancer can be prevented primarily with improvements to diet and to lifestyle. 80% of diabetes, heart disease, and 40% of cancer can be prevented by improving lifestyle, by improving diet. You know, I was excited when my brother talked about how he was born and had an injection, and he became paralyzed, okay? Let me tell you an example of what food can do in that. I used to volunteer in a children's clinic, and we're focused basically on children that had Down syndrome, that their brain had been damaged by either such cases, or most of the mothers that came would tell us that when their child was born, the baby did not cry, and somebody would smack the child, and then the child would lose either motion, or something would just happen to the child. And so we had children like that. But let me tell you about one particular child that he reminded me of. His name was Jude. Jude was 6 months old. Jude had never walked. Jude had never crawled. In fact, what endeared me to Jude was that, you know, when your brain is damaged, they tell us that there's no connection between your brain and your emotions or your thinking faculty. So the mother told us that when Jude poo-poos and there's nobody there, he sees his poo-poo as food, and so he eats his poo-poo. That's the kind of reaction that I like. I always get this reaction, and that's the same thing, the same way I reacted. But you know, we went to the hospital. I won't mention the name of the hospital. And we saw children like this. And we started giving the doctors, if you do this with regard to food, with regard to some lifestyle changes, these children can get better. But they did not listen to us. So we went behind the doctors and told the nurses, the worst of the worst patients you have, send them to us. The patients you cannot handle anymore. These families, they could not even afford normal medicine. So Jude was brought to us. Like I said, he was 6 months old, never walked, never crawled. Eats his poo-poo. And we started pumping Jude with omega-3s. You know, the mother was very poor, and so she could not even afford the medicines that were prescribed. But we increased his omega-3s, gave him high dose of omega-3s, gave him vitamin D, told the mother the kinds of food to give this child, you know. We started this in February. By May, just like he said, he saw another child running or walking, and he got up and he started walking. By May, Jude came to the clinic and was running. Jude came to the clinic. By 6 months, he had never spoken a word. Just by the time I left the clinic, Jude had started saying mom. She could say mommy. But all we did was fill him with probiotics, with omega-3s especially, and then vitamin D, and just natural things too. And his story just changed. So food, diet, lifestyle changes plays a very, very important role, not just in prevention, but in treatment of chronic diseases.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Any?
Let me just share this quickly. I'm not going to take anyone's time. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. My people are getting sick and dying from mostly the quality of the food we grow in this society and of course all over the world. We are eating food that is grown by just 3 nutrients. But we know today that Lady Queens and my associate in America has formulated organic fertilizer that you can use to grow, and organic fertilizer has over 83 nutrients. But nobody is listening. I'm actually looking for somebody who can push that product so we can begin to get better quality food. But I'd like to say something. The food you need to eat is food that alkalizes your system. The body is 70 to 80% water. When I was sick, I was eating mostly cooked food, morning, afternoon, night. I never drank water. Lady Queen sells something, and I also sell it in Lagos. You put it in the dead water we buy from the marketplace. Because don't you realize that water is food? Many of us are going around with dehydrated cells. So you drop it and you drink it. It changes the water to mineralized, antioxidant, hydrogen infused, energy healing water, and your cells will be popping up. That's one of the reasons why I have a lot of energy. Then again, I had to now begin to add water-rich foods, vegetable and fruit juices. Ogo, I'm sure, what is ogo called in English? What is ogo? Bitter leaf. Anything, any green you can get, blend it and drink. So your body, your blood can go to alkaline. In an acidic body terrain, you create cancer. Cancer cannot come with an alkaline pH. The conventional medical system may not appreciate it, but it is documented, especially in the integrative care world. So food is very critical. But mind when you eat, mind how you eat. Don't be eating under stress. The food is not going to be digested. Thank you.
That's very good. Very good. Mind what you eat.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very well elaborate when it comes to issue of eating. Actually, diet plays a very vital role in our system, but at the same time, I want to add it up here, like my sister said, organic. She make mention of organic, that triggered me. Organic system is a system that both of us should understand that is natural. And I want to stress a little bit here that I want to digress about eating diet alone that will give you a healthy living. Let me just tell us here from experience, symbiotic relationship between humans and plants give you more effective balances of your diet than even what you eat, because we need breeze to survive. We need air to survive. What type of air are we contaminating? What type of air are we taking in? How contaminated is the air? More especially today, when I look at us in Nigeria, our method of farming is chemicalized. I even want to take, for instance, the hole that we're sitting down here. Invariably, that is what is happening in most of the houses. If you look at the hole that we're sitting down here, if you want to take a total calculation, it's 75% made of chemical. The paint is chemical, the blocks is chemical. Virtually, if you look, virtually what is here is chemical. Where is the life plant that sustains us, that will be able to give us a sustainable air? That's what we're talking about, the carbon credit. When we talk about carbon credit analysis, we understand that a good number of us build houses without any plants, no trees, no vegetations, just you, paint, and chemicals. You inhale those chemicals, there's no symbiotic relationship between human and plant, and then when you're coming back to eat again, you eat chemicalized food. And then that affects us more drastically. You can be eating balanced diet, but if the environment you're living is toxic, definitely it affects your system. Now, yeah, the plants will live with the symbiotic relationship. If you cannot afford a microbials, that is the microbials that you take physically, your existence with plants within a cycle of living with plants, it still helps you to purify your conditions within an environment. So we should try as much as possible to see that we live green. We live green, it will help us live longer, and it will help balance our diet. Thank you very much.
So good, y'all. And actually, that kind of feeds into the next question right here, because the next question, what strategies or tools, let's see, hold on one sec. What strategy or tools should you find most effective in encouraging preventive health care measures among your patients?
Well, let me just chip in this. When you talk about the strategies or tools that you should find most effective in encouraging preventive health care, my sister mentioned something very important, that our body system is made up of about 80% water. If you get your water right, you will have solved up to 80% of your health challenge. And it is important to know, very good, our moderator is in love with water. I think he has been drinking water very well. But let me tell you this. You need to understand that you need to drink water according to your weight. Because your 1 kilogram of your weight should always have, in a 24 hours period, up to 30 milliliters of water. So if you calculate your your weight, times 30 divided by 1,000, now that is your weight divided by 30 in liters. Good. But if you divide by 1,000, it gives you, of course, in liters, 1 point. If you okay, let's assume can you pick your calculator? Just pick your calculator. Assuming you are 50 kg, let me use that for example. Just do 50 kg times 30 milliliters of water divided by 1,000. What do you have? No, 1.5. It's 1.5 liters. It's 1.5 liters. You know? So when you are 50 kg, make sure you take at least 1.5 liters of water every day. In fact, it is better to have a little bit more than to have it less. Because water plays a very important role. Every aspect of your cell, the blood, in fact, there's no organ that does not have water in it. And that is important for you to take note of, that it will help you, it will encourage prevention. Can I tell you something? When I started practicing water therapy, I was hypertensive. And I was on hypertensive drug. But just taking water and then observing my food created a whole lot of difference. Right now, I'm not on any drug. I'm not on any hypertensive drug. And may I tell you also that you see all these Indomie and all these processed foods, they are not good for you. They are poisonous. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, are we doing okay on time?
Yeah.
We're doing okay on
I
time?
just want to add something here to the preventive medicine, to what my brother has said. Actually, we were discussing and we spoke about the importance of getting education. You need to know the preventive measures. Otherwise, you won't know what to do. And you need to be intentional about your diet. That includes the water he's talking about. You need to be intentional. You eat according to your type, your body type, because we're made of genes and a product of the environment as well. So we need to be intentional. We also need to take care of our mental health. It's part of the preventive medicine. We need to exercise. We need to exercise, we need to take care of our mental health, and we need to rest. That is very important for preventive if you want to stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Excellent, excellent. So I think now is going to be the time.
Let me
Go
quickly
ahead.
add this. When you profess your faith, either Christianity or Muslim, strive to be authentic. Don't do business with somebody and be greedy and selfish. You won't pay the money. When you go to bed, you can't sleep. You can take as much sleeping tablets as you like. It's not going to work. Develop a character. Be a person of character. Be a person of honesty. And so that when you come out, people will see the glory of God. And your health will be shining.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. Yes, yes. So I think it's the time in the program to get questions from the crowd. Does everyone have some questions that they have written down? I can come out and we can ask the questions into the mic. What's that? Oh. We can answer the first one. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name's Jonanthan Maji. The panelists have been talking so much about organic food. The only way we can heal our bodies is to make sure that we access this green. I did not hear Dixon say anything, and all this while you have carried us. But my question is this. Organic food has somehow become very expensive. How do we access it? Because it is more expensive than the synthetic food now. More than 80% of the citizens and even the global world access the synthetic food. How do we access it? And when you get access to it, it's more expensive than it was 50 years ago or even less.
This actually concerns my area of expertise because I belong to the Association of Integrative Medicine Practitioners of Nigeria. Not only that, I'm the National Financial Secretary there, and I'm also a practicing. Lady Queen and I, we've come a long way. And when we preach about synthetic and organic, people, that's always what they tell us, that is expensive. But that's a myth, because it is not. And even if you think it's expensive, what is the value of your life? What's the worth of your life? That is what is expensive. When something is greater, is more valuable than your life, that's what is expensive. And tell me one thing that is valuable than your life. I want an answer. What is more valuable than your life? Your good health. They used to say, if you think education is expensive, try. So if you think health is expensive, try sickness. It is not expensive because right now in Abuja, I live on pure natural fruits and vegetables. Organic. Look around you. I go to people's house. I see something organic. I say, I greet you. How are you doing? I beg, help a dying brother. I need this thing for health purpose. They will give you. I even get more organic things free. It is your pride that makes you think that you can't go to ask for something that will be of help. It is your ignorance that makes you think organic things are not available. I can guarantee you, I eat better and cheaper. Yesterday, I arrived and I had to go to a nearby village. 600 naira to get there, 600 naira, come back. And I bought a fruit of 6,000 naira, add it to the transport, which is 1,200, 7,200. Half of the quantity of what I bought was 10,000 or 11,000 naira when I priced it by the roadside. So is it cheaper or expensive? So eating healthy, it's not. Just look around. And another thing is the product of your knowledge. What do you know that is good for you?
You don't need to necessarily look for something. There is something called GMO. Most of these fruits, it's not every fruit in the supermarket that are correct. GMOs are everywhere. And one single way to find out anything that is organic, keep it for some time, it will start getting rotten. That's organic. GMO, you keep it for long, it will not get rotten. Secondly, all seedless fruits are inorganic. They are GMOs. Buy your grapes, open it. If there's no seed, don't eat. Buy lemon or lime, open it. If there's no seed, it's GMO. Everything in the Bible, go back to your Genesis. The Bible says, for all things that were created, they had their seed in them according to your kind. It was for procreation. It was for multiplication. When God said, multiply, replenish, subdue the earth, it was not talking only to you as humus. It was talking to everything living. And the earth itself, the universe, is alive. I spent 3.5 years without eating cooked food. So if you are talking about good health in natural path, I can talk. I can tell you what to do. All you need to do, gain knowledge. And I tell you, if you start eating right, you will not go back. It's like a land of no return. I call it Boogie Dagahazu. A place where you will get there, you will not come back. It's like a man married to a good wife, and she's late. It's difficult for him to marry anyhow. True or false? Why are you looking at me like a Lucozette? When it comes to marriage and issues of sex, people will begin to behave holy. But our population keeps increasing, so where are the children coming from? Organic children. Most of you have organic children. I can see you are a suspect. But you don't want to eat organic food. Build your life. Stand with your health. In John, 3rd John, he said, my son, I wish above all things, that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospered. That is threefold prosperity. Tripartite prosperity. And it begins with what? Mindset prosperity. Because why is it mindset prosperity? It said, my son. God personalizes you. You are being personalized by God. That is the mindset you should have. First, that you are God's. Did you get that? And who is God? That is the first thing you should inculcate into your mind. Then the second thing God talked to you about is about financial prosperity, wealth. That you prosper, health. And the third thing is spiritual. So many of you seek spiritual first. Don't seek God first. Seek good health. Because with good health, you can serve God better. Crucify me later.
I agree on that.
Thank you very much, brother. At least I have to dive into this organic product once again. When we're talking about organic and looking at it that organic literally is expensive, I want to disagree with that. But I feel we are in a society that exploits every given opportunity. When we look at organic, the method of organic farming is actually more cheaper than the synthetic farming. What we are lacking in this very sector of organic actually is the middlemen. We lack middlemen with sincerity of purpose, because organic is supposed to be natural, from your natural being to your heart. At any time you are cultivating organically, what should cross your mind is not only you are producing food, but you are producing medicine to somebody's health. If that runs through your mind, Before anybody taking your food organically, it has already provided solution for him. So I want to say organic is not expensive, but we ourselves as human that needed organic food, we neglect organic for some certain reason. The GMO that has been introduced to us, actually each and every other person knows that the genetic modified organism is kind of dangerous even to the soil. But we adapt it because we feel the synthetic way is easier to farm, is cheaper, it produces, you have more yield, but it's destructive to our natural being. So to get organic cheaper and constant organic, I want to dare and sincerely tell us here, no single individual here that will not sponsor, that will not have the privilege or the resources to sponsor one organic farmer, even from his locality. Organic is cheap. If I want to tell us the truth, we farm organic ginger. I want to take ginger for instance. Our farmers that farm organic ginger last year, virtually 75% of them were the ones that succeed from the ginger attack that happened last year, because anybody that is a ginger farm will know that definitely ginger is skyrocketed because I'm from Southern Kaduna. Ginger was actually infected by disease. And 75% of those that loses their ginger are people that farm synthetic farming of ginger. For those that we trained to farm organically succeeded and they harvest good ginger. Why? Because they adhere to the practice. So I want to tell us here, there's a global shift. And this global shift, the elites are trying to use their financial resources, their wealth, their experience, and what have you, to depopulate us in any which way they could. So introducing the GMO is for the fact that if things like coronavirus and other ailments could not devastate us, at least the GMO are there to actually devastate our health conditions. So for us to stay healthy and for us to make sure that we get organic food constant and cheaper, everybody is a contributor here. Contributor in the sense that you have to encourage an organic farmer even in your locality for your own consumption. Thank you very much.
Okay, I live in Jos. A live example, please. A client of mine came. Their father was very sick. And then I already communicated with Lady Queen to ask for some products in preparation to the treatment. And they said it was too expensive when we put everything together. And so they took their father to a place where they think is cheaper. Kept him in an hospital. And I still went there to see the man and encourage them on some few things to be doing, since they have rejected the treatment with natural remedies. So one of the complaints I heard from the younger brother of the breadwinner of the family is that they are building a house for the dad. And it has cost him 8-point-something million, and the house is not complete, so that he cannot afford that treatment. 2 months into that treatment, the father died. And they spent money to bury the man. Okay. Now, what is the use of the house that is 8-point-something million, uncompleted? Don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Do you know that everything we were taught in agriculture in school, almost 80% are lies? Agriculture begins with you from your backyard. That is the actual definition of agriculture. If you are talking about the real agriculture taught in school, it's mechanization. And you can also mechanize farming and still be organic. But it will not be acceptable because all they want is profit maximization. So they can put anything to boost yield that has low resistance to disease. So when there's an outbreak of any pest, all the crops is gone. And the money you have spent is lost. In Zimbabwe, if any of you have the knowledge of what is happening in Africa, Zimbabwe don't have seeds to plant now. Yes. Because when they embrace GMOs, so everybody was farming with GMO seeds. So all the seedlings were GMOs. And GMO has recession. They recede. Okay? They retrogress. But organic seeds replicate and progressively. And it keeps, the more it progresses, the more resistance to the diseases, to pests and other conditions. The actual way to farm is during dry season, not in rainy season. But we were taught in school to farm in rainy season. Rainy season was supposed to be a period of harvest of green manures. Then you use irrigation system of farming. That is why when they say Mungo Park, or whatever his name, discovered River Niger, I said, my grandfather was farming there and fishing. How did he discover it? How good will it sound that I went to California and I discovered California? Hello? Now, let us come back home and begin to promote what is organic. You are organic. Every black person should think organic, think Africa, act Africa. Grow your community, grow your plant, grow your food. Don't eat what you do not produce. And don't produce what you cannot eat.
Test, test, 1, 2. All right, here we go.
All right, this is an excellent panel. Thank you so much for all of your expertise and your labors. I'm Charlotte Phillips, Dr. Phillips, here with QEI, running the U.S. operation. Things are very different in the United States, and I'm sure most of you have traveled there, and you know, first of all, they have removed all of these organic seeds. We can't access them. Number two, most of your concrete cities are having a horrible time with this word organic. We have a numbering system with all of the food. And starting with the level 4 up to the level 9. Level 9 is supposed to be the purest of all, the true organic. You can hardly find that. And when you do find it, you can only find it in certain parts of certain states in very elite settings. So in those settings, we have the Whole Foods, we have the Sprouts, we have all of those independent marketers that are actually benefiting, right, from people who have no access to clean food, no access to clean water in America. And so the black population is entirely absent in this conversation. So the inner cities don't even participate in this. This is why it's so important for somebody like Lady Queen and others like her who are beginning to come to the forefront in America. And we definitely believe that QEI has a part of this in a very big way in America. We can't get the seeds that you're talking about. There are no black farmers. They're less than 2% of the people who farm. 80% of the farmland in America is owned by Bill Gates and his selectives. So the farms are shut down. This is all strategic in America, and it's strategic in the West, it's all through the West, as a matter of fact. But people are asking the question, when we bring Lady Queen to the table, and these questions come up, we need some real concrete ammunition to battle this, because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. We are wrestling against a code of death. COVID was a bullet shot into the reality of a lot of our hearts and minds, even as preachers, that we did not understand that there would actually be a coordinated attempt to take humanity down like that. So we know our Bible and all of its prophecy is true. So you guys are the life force. We need this wisdom like never before. And some of us are new, right, to this arena, and we're trying to play catch up because people are dying. And in the black community all across America, they're eating. In fact, there's a documentary, if you've not seen it, called They're Trying to Kill Us. And that documentary was done by a young black inner city guy who got hip to the game of what's happening with food, particularly in the inner cities. And he did all of this research and documented the system, the matrix that's operating. So the grapes you're talking about, we can go to, I can take you right now, 10, 15 grocery stores. You won't find seeded grapes. They're totally off the market. The next part is this numbering dynamic. And so we have something called bioengineered food that they are now claiming is organic because they have created it for us to eat. And so it's being stamped, plant-based, the whole Beyond, that we have Beyond Meat and all of these new plant-based possibilities to replace meat because there's such a big, heavy dynamic to get rid of the meat. I'd love to hear some of your understanding on whether you are or you're not meat eaters and why. That would be my question as I sit down. But there's a game with the meat too. And even what they have invented as an alternative is pure chemicals made by a plant. That's why they can stamp it organic, plant-based. Help us navigate through this matrix of understanding, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have about 10 more minutes, so go ahead, and then we might have a chance for one more question.
Of course. Can I go ahead?
Yes, yes.
I've got a surprise for you. I'm the global CEO and chairman of African Development Consortium. And we are working hard to spread to all the 54 or 55 African countries when Morocco comes to our census, 55. Part of the things we're doing is to preserve naturality. We preserve, I invented a term called astory. That is the opposite of history, because history is his story, not my story. But our story is our story. So the word our and story as against the word is and story. So that is his story about me. But I'm talking about my story about myself. That is our story. And part of the reason why I talked about Zimbabwe is because our fingers are spread all across the African continent and other continents of the world. We are trying to find out what is wrong. Not only in terms of food, even your history. There's a conspiracy to take away your history from you. Your culture, there's a conspiracy to deprive you of your culture. Your tradition is being taken away from you gradually. Right now, I deliberately dress like this, I dress like this, I dress like this. I like to provoke people to ask me questions. And tomorrow you're going to see me in a different attire. It's deliberate. We must be a walking story of ourselves. We must be a walking representative of what it is that we are made of, the stuffs that we are made of. So it is not only our story. We are changing the curriculum of education because the educational system in all African countries are colonized educational system. So you have a society that is poorly educated, there's miseducation, there is going to be misinformation, there's going to be misagriculturization, there's going to be chemistralization and physicalization and all the lizations. And it is going to lead to the mis-isms, all the isms, the socialism, capitalism, and all that. The capitalists tell you that this is what is going to be obtainable from you that it cannot even give to you, and you cannot even give yourself, but it demands you to produce what you cannot give and what it cannot do. That is what I call ethnopsychosis. It's my own terms. It's a system where you're conditioned to keep doing one thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. From that is madness. Madness of the highest order. Then another thing is the tragedy of a gigantic proportion. Africa has become a continent or the black community are the most haunted species on the planet. Deny it to your own detriment. If you deny it, no problem. But when you face what do you call it? Reality, or when something is real. Okay, the English is disappearing. Reality. When I grow up, I will learn more English. C'est la vérité. Sorry. The truth, let me tell you, if Africa did not wake up from a slumber, the story will be very difficult. Check, France alone has assassinated 76 from 1954 till date. France alone has assassinated 76 African presidents. And all of them have one thing in common. They want to establish organic Africa. All of them. Recent of one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for clapping. The recent is John Pombe Magufuli of Tanzania. During the period of COVID. There is nothing medically. I challenge any medical doctor here. There is nothing, no disease medically called COVID. Yes. I challenge any medical person. I am into research. And we can go into the lab with anybody. I can explain to you the anatomy of what COVID or whatever they call it is. There is no pandemic. There was no pandemic during COVID. It was systematic installation of fear. Because the pharmaceutical industry thrives on fear. You can't spend your money on what you are not afraid of. So the first thing they sell to you is not knowledge, it's fear. If there was really a pandemic, was the agency, National Rotation Agency of Nigeria, did they do any publicity? There was none. On TV, on radio, no. Why? Was there a localized reach out? But when it comes for vaccine, they will begin to go from house to house to vaccinate people. There was no pandemic, it was a plandemic. Arrest me after this program.
Very good, very good. I think we're going to have to wrap up now. Y'all are going to be coming back up.
Wow.
But can we get a round of applause for everybody up here? Yes, yes. And then Kiana. What's either Kiana?
Hello, guys. Have you guys been? Hello. I said there are two food that God gave us. What is that? Abba, you were here this morning. What is the two food that the two things that God gave us to be fed on? One is what? Word and herbs. Now, they have been speaking, and they are coming back here tomorrow morning. So they will be here again tomorrow morning, because if we keep them here, we're going to sleep here. So what they have said today is amazing, isn't it? It's incredible, and some of the things you've not heard of before. This is not, I didn't want to come up here because I can sit here and talk, and most people that know me, they know me now. But I wanted to get other people to come on board and teach us something that I've been saying it, but I wanted other people to be witness. This is a witness. It's a witness that everything that I've been saying for years is actually true. Praise the Lord. All right, so let us give them a standing ovation. You can have a seat. I just want to thank you guys for taking your time, coming out here to upload yourself. Just upload yourself to us. And I thank you, and I know that tomorrow morning, I'm hoping that we'll start early, that the bus will arrive here on time, so that we can kickstart and then finish on time with you guys. All right, so thank you so much. Please, you can have a seat. Please keep standing and clapping for them. Before the dinner gets here, please can somebody come and Adrian, Adrian. Hello. So we did a research earlier. I was supposed to teach this evening. I don't think I need to. Because what we have heard is huge. But I want to tell you guys something that, sometimes people are walking around, you don't know what's going on with them. How is it that a man does not know what a PSA is? Prostate test. Because a lot of our men are dying from prostate enlargement, from prostate cancer. Whenever you wake up in the morning and you cannot even urinate, or first thing in the morning. Hello, guys. When you wake up first thing in the morning and you don't have full erection. And I know somebody's heart just beeped. Boop, boop, boop. You don't have any erection in the morning you wake up, because the way God made you, when you wake up, if you see newborn babies, when they wake up in the morning, they have erection. If you don't have it, wahala don't start. Morning hug. Morning call. So you guys have a code. The men have a code. They call it morning call. If you're a woman here that has your husband is here with you, please can you raise your hand? Okay. None of you brought your husband. Your husband is here with you? Great. Anytime he goes out to urinate, follow him in the morning. And check his morning call. And make sure because they don't tell you the truth until it's a problem. Because men cannot ever tell you the truth what's going on with them because of their manhood and their godness. So we have to check on our men. If you have a brother, always ask him, have you checked your prostate? Because in Lagos, we have high cases of men with prostate. And then they would fly overseas and remove their prostate, and their manhood is gone. Do you guys want me to tell you what's affecting our politicians? Why they're so wicked? Most of them. Some of them. So that they won't come after my house tomorrow. Even though I don't mind dying tomorrow because I want to go and meet my papa. Listen. When you remove a man's prostate and remove a woman's womb, the person is no longer the same. I can actually stand here and tell you from some doctors overseas that have conversated with me that 67% of our politicians, most of them have removed their prostate. Because, see what Dr. Ife said. How is it that you think you can be wicked to somebody and be in good health? You can't be in good health and be wicked to somebody else, or not forgiving somebody, because you're in prison. You're locked up in prison because you're holding grudges against somebody. I have a client that came to my office one day. She has breast cancer. And she came to see me, and because I have learned to no longer operate carnally, I try to talk to my Creator before I do anything. This woman is going through chemo. She's frustrated. And then I was scanning her, and after I finished, I just heard a voice. She have not forgiven her husband. I'm like, forgive her husband? What are you forgiving your husband for? I turned around and said, you have not forgiven your husband. I repeated what I heard. She started crying. Did my husband tell you? I said, no. This is why you have the cancer. Then she started crying. Your husband. You were forced to marry your husband. You have had 4 children, and you still have not forgiven him. Or forgiven the family that made her marry the man. But you're living a good life. You have a beautiful car. Your kids are grown. But you still have not forgiven the man because you say the man does not love you because he was forced to marry you. So who is in prison? She's in prison. So you're here today. You don't even know that something is growing in your body because you're holding grudges. You owe somebody money. As soon as you see the phone ring, your heart starts beating fast. There's something, Apostle, you said yesterday, how I let go of somebody that gave me a check. I gave them, I supply organic rice from Shunom Madinga, Dr. Shunom Madinga. That's where our food is coming from. From Kaduna is his farm. They farm 100% organic. The rice, everything that you're eating from us, from the restaurant, it's organic. That's where our food is coming from. I don't want to take a long story. I don't want to go long because I want us to call Shunom. Shunom has something I wanted him to present. Because most of us in Nigeria are spending a lot of money on gas. You know gas, cooking gas? He has found a way to do cooking without you paying gas. Like what we used to cook, right? Are you here? All right, please, let's stand up. DJ, give us music. Because we've been sitting for a while. Dinner is coming. Please give us some music over there, just for a minute. So let's stretch. You've been sitting for a while. Let's move our hands around. Move your hip. We need a music, quick. Okay. Oh, see you tomorrow. Okay. You're not bringing us music. All right, then. We're going to do the cultural way. Okay, you're trying to say something. Hello? 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 Clap your hands.